If you tap something, they will open some other window. If you tap that, they'll open some other window. So it is becoming very difficult for mothers to, keep an eye on the child. So the nature of the child should always be nurtured well. So it begins only at home. So if you give good and bad and right and wrong, and be connected with that loving communication to the child will never look into all those things which are hazardous for his development and growth.
You said that whatever the moods of the child, it shows on the child when they're born. When they're twins, how is it that the twins are totally different?
That is the reason where I said conscious parenting, mother not being conscious or the fetus in the womb not being conscious. There are several kind of theories which are interpreted or said where sometimes, child is sleeping and mother is awake. Mother is sleeping and the child is awake. So among these two twins, one child may be sleeping and another is awake. So consciousness is a process of awakening. So once you're awake, it's not that it's like our mind is like a trap where everything that goes in that trap, but how you filter that, how you're conscious and what is attracting you at that point of time will become your nature. So it is not that everything that is happening around is affecting the child, but if the child is conscious at that time, that is the reason why mother has to avoid certain places, certain people, certain talks which may affect. So it is better that she should go into a positive environment always. So that is how consciousness depends. We are not 100% conscious of everything anytime every time. So consciousness keeps changing, and when you are alert, aware and conscious, only that gets sink in. So avoiding such kind of a thing. So twins, one may be like this. So again, science is there, identical, non-identical. So they they come with a genetic makeup as well. There are many things which contribute. One among them is this. So prevention is better always than cure.
I'm so proud to have you come on to the talk and share on such a critical topic, which the younger generation is fast not realizing the importance.
Yes, ma'am.
One question from Ms. Kalyani. How important is socializing kids? And in this process, they're exposed to various unwanted habits. Please guide.
This is the most difficult phase through the generation is passing. If you tap something, they will open some other window. If you tap that, they'll open some other window. So it is becoming very difficult for mothers to, keep an eye on the child. So the nature of the child should always be nurtured well. So it begins only at home. So if you give good and bad and right and wrong, and be connected with that loving communication to the child will never look into all those things which are hazardous for his development and growth. So mother, if she is well connected with the child, then she will automatically know where the child is going wrong. Mothers have to spend little time with the children. If they don't have time, then it's difficult for mothers to understand what he or she is undergoing through. So that can be avoided.
So I had experience. I have 3 grandchildren and they have a whole lot of cousins. And there are times that I have observed the same thing. So one day my grandson was sitting on a potty seat and then he lifted up the potty seat and threw the urine all over the room. I gave him one on his butt. He was very angry. He went to a corner and he was like, I'm going to kill you kind of a look. I said, you didn't follow Dharma. Rama follows Dharma. Now, if you have done a mistake and that's why you got a consequence for it. Immediately he came, he sat with me, he got his oil massage done. and he started talking to me. So the concept of dharma, when it was put to the child through the form of a story, whether what is right, what is wrong, and when they join the society around them, the children around them, and when they're sometimes imitating these bad habits, when you bring them back to the path of dharma, you explain it to them. The boy is 4 years old. I'm talking of a boy who's 4 years old. So at that age, if they're able to understand, definitely they can understand at any age.
It is the style and a pattern of communication. It's a type of pattern of communication that you develop with the child.
What is the role of education and social well-being in development conscious parenting?
So very well put. This question is so important, and that is the reason why we were getting so many complaints about children being stubborn, erratic, not listening, can't study, IQ levels low, and all these. And then we had to go back to such a exploration that where the actual secret lies. So education now, I'm sure today's topic must have enlightened a few things which parents or the audience may or may not have heard about it. Now, if this is the fact, if this is what is required, then this is a type of education that needs to be propagated, that needs to be given to the parents who are bringing children to this world. So education definitely helps. This type of education helps further, and then it will once that bonding is created in this developing world where there are a lot of distractions and negativities around, to filter them and make the soul himself or herself very stable. So mother's role with the bonding happens that, and that is what we are trying to bring back what it used to be. Among these distractions, one has to how maintain that stability, that concentration, that consistency will happen when the mothers start developing, and the demonstration of mothers' behaviors, mothers' style, mothers' lifestyle, or the fathers, not mother includes father here, being very, very conscious about what child is given in the environment. So their acts itself brings the behavior to the child. So this is how the modern world's influences are increasing. And that is why we have to go back to our culture, our scriptures, which has given different types of practices to stabilize, so that what is to be received only will be received by the child. So education through this type of education will help them overall develop.
Wonderful. Mr. Shumel, I had a question for you. Since you come from Israel, I understand mothers out there take a lot of care about the pregnant mothers, and the family around takes a lot of care about them, ensuring that they are educated in maths, in music and all. Is that true?
Yeah. Very thank you on your elaborated answer. Very thank you.
How are pregnant mothers in Israel taken care of?
Yeah. In Israel, yeah.
I would like to add to your question, ma'am, because we also have this, we also include, because it was a nutshell that I couldn't put everything in this, but Jews are the community which form only 9% of the world's population. But the laureates that are coming from Jews, who are Nobel laureates, are coming around 60 to 70% of laureates are Jews. And they are on the top of the different fields. The reason behind is they practice all this kind of practices which are given in their scriptures or formats, or whatever religious practices that do, it becomes compulsory for them. When the mother is carrying, she has to practice all these things. And when compared to other population, we will find that the level of intelligence and awareness is more in Jews. So this is one such community, and we have those practices and scriptures intact, but it is not now practiced. It is just remained in the books, but there it is a practice. So with this, we can see how evolved those souls are, those human beings.
Next question: how to identify and encourage children's interests?
When you spend time with the children, you will know their nature, you will know what they want, because they are your own extension of soul. So you can identify if you spend time with children and just communicate well. And then once you understand, if they are exceeding whatever their demands are, you can modulate that also, and explain. After explaining, after talking, after bringing some examples to them, they will understand it better.
The next question from Ms. Radharani. Parenting can feel overwhelming at times. How do you deal with this, Srivani and Usha Reddy, ma'am?
True, it is overwhelming, and in that process, you over pamper children sometimes. So balancing your mind and regulating your emotions is most important. For that, you need to practice. I mean, I'm not directly saying you, but the parents need to practice some yoga, some meditation, something, so that they balance first and they regulate their emotions and not become overwhelmed, or they're not attentive. Or not delivering what is it. So regulation of balancing of mind is required for parenting. So they also need to practice certain kinds of spiritual practices, which will where IQ, EQ, and SQ, spiritual quotient, is also in place and balance, so that your overwhelming attitude comes down and you understand, and you'll have a clarity of understanding how to parent, what is required for the child to give and what not.
So I wanted to add something. So I'm a mother of 3 and I have 3 grandsons, and I can see one of my daughter has 3 grandsons. So there are times when it's overwhelming for her. There are times when she leaves them with me. When she goes on a holiday, it's overwhelming for me. So what I practice is every mother should take time off for themselves, an hour or 2. When I get up in the morning, I tell my husband, I need this 1 hour for myself. I need to be quiet. When I'm sleeping, I say, I need this 1 hour for me. I need to be quiet. And I do mudras. Thanks to Ms. Radha, I have been doing mudras for around half an hour, each mudra for 3 minutes. And no matter how much of anxiety I have, within half an hour, I'm finding my anxiety calm down. I put some meditative music and I do this. Another thing I can say about parenting is we're soon becoming nuclear families in our country. But I can tell you, that's one of the biggest disaster that we are moving towards. Luckily for me, my daughter lives in an apartment where her in-laws live 1 floor down, and she's got a whole lot of family living in the same apartments. So there is always somebody coming to visit. And for example, the children go to my son's house for lunch. That's the time when she's free. Another cousin or an uncle takes them out for an hour in the evening. So it takes a village to groom a child.
Yes.
And it will be beautiful if as mothers we are smart enough to create a network of parents or individuals around you whom you can trust, who can share. Mm-hmm. There might be times when one sister doesn't want to take care of the children. She'll ask the other cousin, sister, will you take care of the children today? I need a break. So it's important the mother takes a break when she's overwhelmed. It's important she leaves the child in the hands of another person whom she trusts at those times. And it's necessary for us to build those relationships.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. Very true. And in the process, parents neglect themselves and fall prey to the demands of the child, and child becomes very demanding.
So next question is from Anju. Can you emphasize more on Ashtavakra Vigita in parenting?
No, it is not about parenting. It is about being conscious about the process of pregnancy. And it conveyed the message that pregnancy is a very, very conscious process where the child is very receptive. And that is the example given of Ashtavakra's life, where the child could communicate with the father. It was highly evolved soul. And those examples are of a very great, highly evolved entities which are coming to this world for some purpose. But pregnancy is a part of it, where they have to come through pregnancy only. And there are stories, maybe to what extent it is true, to what extent it is highlighted in a different manner, where our understandings might not have been evolved to that level. So I can't interpret that, but it is said that the soul is so alert in the womb that it can hear, it can listen, and whatever the curses that are given by the outside world, which is parent or father, it affected the child in its development. So that negativity is the main theme that need to be taken. You should not use such language when somebody is pregnant around you. So that is what is the main concept.
So another thing that's happening now, a lot of parents are going in for one child, saying that my property is enough for one child. I'm not able to manage my child. And what I have noticed, when I had my first child, the child wanted me, if I go anywhere, the child wanted me to carry him always. So if I leave Tanuku and come to Hyderabad, the whole morning from 6:30 to 10 o'clock, I had to carry him, and my shoulders and hands were paining. But the minute I had my second child, they didn't need me. They were with themselves, with each other. So the amount of time the parent is overwhelmed comes down when the child has come.
Wonderful. It's a natural process, but you are stunting and you are becoming overwhelmed actually. So you don't want and you disrupt, but actually it is helping you. And children grow together and they will have a wonderful life and relationship.